Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reality Unloaded, where we'll be covering the Challenge All Stars 4, Episode 4. It's your girl, Keeks.
I'm Lina D.
And I'm Brandon.
And thanks for joining us for another live review. We have a lot to discuss. So many things went down this episode. We have a lot of opinions. We were trying to so hard not to spill over the group chat. So let's get into it. Lena's gonna take us into the breakdown of the episode. And we did leave off with Keefla and Rachel winning their eliminations, and everyone's back in the house. And now Rachel's explaining why exactly she took the star from Tina instead of taking it from Carl. So go ahead, Lena.
Yeah, so the episode starts where we're seeing Rachel teeing it up with Veronica and Ryan. And she's basically spilling her truth, why she decided to take Tina's star. She basically explains that Tina did not even have to really work for the star because she didn't do an elimination. Ryan adds a little tea. She was also in the bottom three for 3 times in a row. So yeah, and we see kind of the funny side of Tina come in. She admits that she's really not that upset. She understood why Rachel did what she did. And that really having a star kind of becomes a target. So Tina's not too upset. Rachel kind of feels like in the clear with her decision, keeping her alliance, or not her alliance, but her agreement with Cara Maria. What did you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I think overall Tina took it with grace. I don't think she was like dying over the fact that her star was stolen. She basically made a point. She said, I don't want the target to be on me anyway. And I think she took it like a champ. So I wasn't mad at her reaction at all.
Yeah. We did transition though to a little bit of a salty Cam. So we kind of transitioned the episode to Cam and Nicole. And Nicole's really talking to Cam. I feel like a little bit of spicing her up and saying how she thought Cara Maria actually thought that Cam would have her back. And Cam was just not having it. Cam was saying that, why would she have her back? Since she did a deal with Rachel behind Cam's back, Cam is against it and now against Cara Maria. So we're kind of seeing a friendship turn a little sour in this episode.
And my thing is also like, okay, so Cam, you're cool with Cara. You guys played a whole season together. You were on the same team basically, trying to get to the final. You guys made it to the final. They're like close. They have each other's back. So when Nicole was coming to her basically with this gossip, like, hey, like Cara came up to me and said this, that, and the third. Why didn't Cam just go up to Cara and say, hey, I heard you said this? It kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I was like, why would you believe Nicole? Like, I don't know. What about you, Keeks?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm like, this edit between Cam and Cara is very weird to me, considering that they are good friends outside of the show, or at least were. I'm not understanding why conversations were not had about how Cam felt, and like Cara just like explaining her thought process and the strategy behind her move last episode to Cam. Granted, even though she already like explain that at the deliberation for nominations, but it's just like, okay, like let's debrief that again because clearly there's a problem. But I also don't blame Cam for peeping. Okay, clearly Rachel and Cara have something working in the works because Rachel didn't take Carl's star either. So I do understand her being apprehensive. I just do wish that they would have taken the time to speak to each other about it because I feel like that's a duo that we should have been seeing working together and
Yeah.
they would have been dominating the house together. So that was my biggest thing. I was just like, why are these conversations not happening? It almost felt reminiscent of Olivia and Horacio kind of situation. I'm like, why are y'all not
It's like,
having a
why are you
duo?
guys not talking? Just talk.
Yeah.
Everything will be
When
resolved if you guys just talk.
I didn't
But
understand that.
I feel like Cam is really though making kind of a mountain out of a molehill because again, Cara Maria's move did not really affect Cam's game. You know, it's still, you know, what Cam wanted to happen still happened. So I feel like a little bit of a victim card is being thrown around. And you know, we see through different kind of commentary that starts to happen throughout the episode where Cam is throwing and really breaking down Cara Maria, that it hurt. Like you can tell Cam is hurt, and I think way more than that she should be, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking like maybe with her like obviously having to do her mommy duties while there, maybe that's what bothered her. Like I wonder if it's like the pressure of that, the game, and then like her seeing like obviously this idea of this friendship that she has with Kara is making her feel like it is a much bigger thing than what it is. I don't know. So but
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out eventually because she does have her podcast with Lee on Patreon that they put out. And I
Okay.
think I saw something where it said like there's obviously more that we did not see, but she
Mm,
didn't want to dive into it further because she also wants to take into consideration people's mental health. And she didn't want to add more fuel to the fire, I guess. But maybe we'll hear more about it in another podcast or later on.
fair.
We'll
So
see.
really,
I don't know.
yeah, we'll definitely see. I mean, production definitely has a way of cutting and editing and only giving us what they want us to see. So we will definitely probably be revisiting that in the future. So the episode really goes into the daily challenge after kind of those limited conversations. And the daily challenge is called Unbraided Reloaded. So just giving the high level game rules. So it is played in 4 teams of 5. The teams will be hanging from a 2-story stacked semi truck with a maze behind them. Each player will be connected to one of the 5 braided ropes. And really, the goal of the challenge is the team needs to unbraid themselves and reach the maze as soon as possible. Pass the maze peg from one player to another until you get to the end, and then the time is stopped. And the
Mhm.
fastest team is the winning group.
Yeah. How did y'all feel about this daily challenge? I at first was a little apprehensive at like how difficult it was going to be. But it did seem very challenging. And I will say the challenge itself, like the groups, the way that they were paired up, I was also surprised by some of the pairings or like the groups. And we can go into the to each team. So in the orange team, it's Veronica, Brad, Cara, Ace, and Flora. This is like Cara and Ace's like second or third time being paired up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
so.
And then the red team, it's Tina, Brandon, Jasmine, Jay, and Avery. The pink team is Ryan, Cam, Laurel, Derek, Steve. And the green team is Adam, Rachel, Leroy, Keefla, and Nicole.
So I'm gonna go back to what you asked, like, how did I feel about the challenge? So with the challenge, the one thing I wouldn't say despise, but don't love about it is these group challenges. I really like
Yeah.
seeing people either in pairs or individual because I think it showcases more of their capabilities throughout the challenge itself. So when you have these like big groups, because it is a big group, it's 5 people, you don't really get to see everyone's like strengths and weaknesses. You just hear a lot of yelling and frazzled people. So I already knew what it was going to be going into it and seeing it. So I wasn't that excited, but I don't know. What about you, Lena?
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a fan of these group challenges. I feel like what tends to happen is 1 or 2 players tries to take the lead And it ends in one of two ways. Either they completely bomb it for the entire group because people are over it, there's yelling. We definitely see that with this challenge. Or you have people who are taking the lead and really killing it, and everybody else is listening, and it's a seamless transition to a win. So it's really kind of dependent on who takes the lead for the group and how they perform that dictates who's going to win.
Yeah, for sure. And it was funny because we go into the first group going up. It's the orange team, right? So that again, for everyone listening, is Veronica, Brad, Cara, Ace, and Flora. And you kind of just see Brad trying to grab the ropes and move people around, but everyone's just jammed up and it's looking like a mess. I was like kind of nervous for my girl Cara because I'm like, you have a star, do a little bit better. But they just didn't look good. They didn't. And I had a feeling, I was like, they might be one of the bottom teams. So then you go into the red team and they were able to untangle everything and finish the maze before the orange team did. So they were pretty fast. And then Cam's team, which is the pink team, just dominated.
Yeah.
It felt like Cam and Laurel kind of just took the reins and they were like, all right, we're gonna like show you guys what to do. Just listen to us, and everyone listened, and they got through it seamlessly. And then the last team to go was the green team, which again for everyone was Adam, Rachel, Leroy, Keefla, and Nicole. Again, didn't do great. I think there was a comment that Rachel made where she basically said Adam was moving like a bull in a china shop, and it was just chaos.
Oh my God,
I
it was
think,
insane.
yeah, it was a hot mess. I don't know, like, but yeah, I think the performances overall, I wasn't like so surprised with. I will say for the pink team though, I think Laurel and Cam absolutely killed it. I think they took the leadership role and they did it well.
I'll say this. Sorry, I was surprised not by the pink team doing well. I was surprised by the red team doing as well as they did because they were close to winning as well. And also, have y'all noticed that we're not seeing the timestamps for each group? Like they're not showing that.
Yeah, they're not giving us like an idea of where it is. Like it's really until TJ announces that you kind of have any idea who's won.
Yeah, I think they showed it maybe like very briefly for one of the groups, but it's like we can't really base anything. But yeah, I was like, wow, I am so surprised that this red team did as good as they did, especially because like I don't know, I just feel like they have like smaller ass people. Like these are all very like short, frail,
Well,
fragile
that probably helped them, to
help
be
them.
honest,
Yeah,
because if you're like taller and heavier, like to get around people while you're hanging is like
yeah,
a lot on your body. So when you're smaller, it's like, oh, I'm going through
yeah.
here.
You're right.
Like,
You're right. But yeah, I
And
was just shocked about that.
I also think the red team doesn't have a huge dominant voice in the group. So I think they were able to kind of come up with a strategy together and figure it out. Again, where when you think about the two teams that like really lost, you have big voices that really took over and really crumbled the communication. So like for the orange team, I felt like Brad really tried to dominate, didn't do a good job at it. And then for the green team, you saw like kind of a little thing going on with like Adam, Rachel, Keefla being a bigger guy. So there was definitely some struggle. But I did want to make a comment about the pink team. So before Cam went to compete, the group was brought on camera and she was saying that she wanted to pop her winning cherry and she really wanted to do a first win. And she made a very interesting comment. She said, this is really the opportunity for a few of us strong players to go down into the elimination and get a star. So she almost kind of set the stage of like, hey, it's my turn. But now, does she do it? We'll talk about that a little later.
yeah, we definitely will. But eventually, yeah, the winner of the whole entire challenge is the pink team. which again includes Ryan, Cam, Laurel, Derek, and Steve. The bottom two teams are the orange and green team. So this we know is a girls' elimination day. So that includes Veronica, Cara, Flora, Rachel, and Nicole. And then now the middle group is deciding basically who they want to put up. So that is the team, including Tina, Brandon, Jasmine, or yeah, Tina, Jasmine, Brandon, Jay, and Avery. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, and then we do see kind of Rachel starting to hypothesize. You know, she's stressed that her and Veronica are on the bottom. She knows that being friends puts a big target on their back. And she really kind of sets up the episode because she says, you know, they're either going to go big and go with Cara versus Rachel, or they're going to try to target something that's real in the house, which is Veronica versus Rachel. So once TJ kind of announced that it's a girls' day, there was a little bit of tension that was now happening with the losing group. What'd you think about that, Keeks?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at the tension building, especially when you have some heavy hitters in the losing group. So I wasn't surprised about that. Obviously they're trying to get a sense of like what's gonna happen, who's gonna vote for who. Um, Obviously, like some people we'll see, like Cara, she thinks that she's gonna be protected by her friends that she came into the game with, or at least had some sort of connection with, and that's like Brandon, Jasmine, and Jay. And in this moment, like we also see like Cara have like a little chat with Brandon, which they seem to be like roommates in that
I
moment.
think so. I think they're
Yeah,
in
they
Yeah.
the
they're in the
same
same
room,
room.
if I'm not
She's
mistaken.
doing like the red light therapy and just chatting
Yeah,
away
yeah.
with Brandon. Yeah.
Massaging her face. Brandon's like, "Oh, you have bigger guns than me," kind of thing. And they kind of touch on the fact that like they met on Fresh Meat. Every season that Brandon's done, Cara has pretty much also done that season as well. And granted, like they've been estranged for some years, which we'll hear later, but he does respect her. And it's even like under the impression by other challengers in the house that Brandon and Cara are each other's number ones. So that was
Which Cara did say Brandon
she
was
did.
her number one.
She did.
Yeah.
Which I thought was also very interesting because I would have thought Cam and her would have been each other's, aside from Leroy, you know what I mean? But like outside of the
Well,
relationship. So I thought it was
well,
interesting.
I think that's smart to say though, because if I go into the game and I know Cam and Leroy are coming in together, they're already each other's number one. So I'm not even gonna go and bother saying like, "Oh, Cam, you're my number one." Like it wouldn't
Right.
make sense. So her saying Brandon to me made sense because I think of that whole cast, the only other person would be Laurel if they were actually like close, but we've seen them. We see how their
Interest,
relationship is.
interesting enough. I don't know. Did you guys catch kind of that moment where Brandon and Cara were talking, but Brandon did say something very interesting. He said that he is planning to do what's best for his game. So even though he had kind of tried to comfort Cara in that moment, saying, "Oh, you look stressed. Don't worry." He did also put that statement in there, almost kind of like a disclaimer to her.
Mm.
So Brandon's smarter than we think, I think, guys.
Is he? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I just thought I was very surprised by this relationship by Brandon and Cara. So that's another thing. That's why I was just like, yeah, this is weird. So then
I'm
from
really not though, because I've seen on Cara's Instagram like he where does she live? I think Montana or somewhere. Somewhere
you
with a
you
ranch.
you the Cara
Um
stan, you should know.
Right, really? Like you, the
I
ultimate
think
Cara fan.
it's Montana. Don't kill me if I'm wrong. I think it's Montana, but
Don't
he
be
came to
I
doxing
think
LA.
it
visit
is.
her. He came to visit her at her ranch, like, and I
Okay.
saw them in a picture with their horses and everything. They were like cool, and this was before he made his return onto the show, so they kept a
Yeah.
relationship after, and they were cool. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and they make that comment about like them they haven't seen each other in quite some time and they pick up where they left off at. Like it's very free flowing type of friendship. They don't need to spend as much time together in order to feel
Yeah.
that connection. So I guess I was just more of surprised that like um I guess like just more surprised at the fact that like they still meant so much to each other. I just felt like they were more acquaintances than anything. But it is what it is. So then Laura, Nicole, they have a little chat. They're getting along now. They flirting.
Come
Moving
on,
on.
Keeks. This is that's their only storyline this episode. We're just gonna sweep it under the rug.
Moving on. Okay. So after Brandon, gives that little disclosure, gives her a little pep talk, she's hyped, she's feeling comfortable. We go to the bar. And the challengers, they're ready to get loose after the challenge. Jasmine at the bar, she mentions to Tina while she's talking to Tina and Jay, right?
Yes.
Yes, to
Yes,
Tina and
yes.
Jay. She mentions that she wants to send in Veronica and Rachel since they always pick her name. And I don't blame Jazz for saying that. I also found it funny, like Tina being like, "Oh, Jazzy, please, like,
Yeah.
oh, you're putting me in a tough spot." It's like Tina, like you were gonna be in a tough spot regardless because you have two of your closest allies in the game with you. Like that was expected. But I did think it was funny how like, well, the way that Tina was reacting, but in general, like I did not blame Jazz for bringing that up and saying that to light because it's true. What
Yeah.
about you?
And
Yeah, I don't disagree with it because I feel like again, you see like couples coming into the game or duos coming into the game, but I guess you would call them a trio. Yeah, like that's even more dangerous. So the fact that
Mm-hmm.
she's like trying to make that move early on, good for her. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
the smarter move, but again,
correct.
Lena, you can go
And
into it.
Jasmine has no loyalty to Veronica or Rachel or Tina for that matter. So it was definitely the smart move. Tina's trying to politic. We all know Tina's not the best politic. We even have a glimpse of Veronica saying she has no faith in Tina saving her best friend.
Wait, can we talk about that? First of all, Veronica, what have you been doing this season?
Right?
Drinking her wine as she
Drinking
should
Drinking
her
have.
her
wine,
wine.
minding her biz, which is fine. But I'm like, Veronica, you ain't done nothing.
Listen, she said it from the beginning. She came here to hang out with her best friends, have a few drinks, and have fun. And that's exactly what she's doing. So,
Listen, not her shitting
I
on
mean,
Tina like that.
that's what she's been doing for the past couple seasons. But again, I don't fault her for it. Like,
Me either.
kudos to her.
so we're seeing Jasmine kind of develop this own kind of her own strategy for what she wants to choose the elimination.
Yeah.
But Killer Cam comes in to change the plan a bit. So we kind of see really the episode take a turn where you have Cam kind of in the bedroom with Avery, Jasmine, Laurel, and Cam is basically planting the seed to both Avery and Jasmine that, hey, this is your moment to make a big move. And you should make a big move because you have two really strong competitors on the bottom, Cara and Rachel. Brandon, tell us how that goes.
Okay, so she's basically trying to convince the whole room that the best bet is Cara and Rachel. And essentially, yes, that is, the best thing to do. But I feel like they I feel like it's so early on that it wasn't like something that needed to be done just yet. Because again, Cam was safe, Laura was safe. Nobody was going for those girls. So like
But you
to
don't know when it's going to happen
automatically,
again.
if they keep doing these group challenges, it definitely can happen again. I just feel like it was so early on that I don't know. I don't know. Keeks, what do you think?
I disagree. I feel like she planted the seed and it worked. Like, as much as we don't like the move, as much as we would have liked for Rachel and Cara to not be the names down there, she's doing something. She did something that we always complain about when it comes to the flagship, that these challengers take mad long to actually make a strategic move, and then you end up seeing the heavy hitters, the OGs, making it to the end because the rest of the cast is scared to make a move on them. And when were they going to have another opportunity to, well, like you said, like, yes, of course, if they continue with these group challenges, but when was there going to be an actual opportunity for two of them to be down there or be in the
And they both
bottom?
and they both have stars.
And they both have stars. I felt like I understood the play. Do I necessarily like that the play is against Cara and Rachel? Absolutely not. I wanted to see them further in the game together. Especially Rachel, since we haven't seen, well, both of them honestly equally, since we haven't seen them in a while. But I was not mad at the game. I was not mad at it at all, and I understood. I do wish that, like, um I don't know, again, like, Cam had this conversation with Cara, because I felt like whatever she's been harboring pretty much fueled her in putting Cara's name out there, where she could have
I feel
easily said,
like
let's get rid of Rachel's allies, you know?
I feel like she's just I don't know. Kim is just mad for no reason, but whatever. It is what it is. So
Yeah.
the red team then goes and has a chat before the elimination. Avery
Oh.
makes a good point and basically says all of the red team are basically swinger votes. So all of a sudden, Jasmine is saying that she's willing to throw Cara and Rachel in because that's basically what's best for her game now, all of a sudden. And Avery says she's willing to make the big move, but she doesn't want to say Rachel. And then Jay comes in and basically says, I'm willing to make the big move, but I don't want to say Cara. Which, again, he's at this point the only one that really had her back. And then Brandon goes ahead and says he wants the strongest players out since it's an individual final and he thinks that Cara can beat him. So that's kind of how that plays out. I
Brandon,
wasn't
may
too
I ask you a question? Are you like the head of the Cara Maria fan club? Because you're doing great.
I'm okay, I'm not. The thing is, I like when people have the 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 courage to actually go up to a person and say, "Hey, I'm voting for you." Especially if we're cool and I'm saying I'm your number one, you're my number one, or vice versa. I think like you should actually be able to go up to the person, and if you're not like shaking in your boots, like you'll be fine. But the fact that he couldn't even do that because Cara actually confronted Brandon and Jay because Ace had said something to Cara along the lines of, "Oh, I have a bad feeling. I think you should like go talk to them." And Cara was like, "What do you mean? I don't think I have Jasmine, Brandon, and Jay. Like they're not gonna vote for me, I don't think." Like, so then she goes and vote or not votes, she goes to talk to them and basically is saying what Ace had mentioned to her. And Brandon is literally like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say anything." And they literally just had the conversation about throwing her in, which pissed me off because it's like, Brandon, just say that you're gonna like throw her in. It'll hurt less.
Ooh,
I have
Keeks is brewing over
a comment about
there.
that. I have a comment about that because something that you said kind of contradicted what you said last week, my friend.
What
So
what did I say last week?
last week you had said Cara didn't have to tell Cam who she was gonna vote. She didn't have to tell her about Rachel, nothing like that. But
Mm-hmm. Because
Ooh, someone's
you know
in the
why
hot
though? No, 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 no,
seat.
no,
no,
no. You
wait,
know
wait, let
why
me
though?
finish. Let me finish.
Okay, go
Our
ahead,
Because
go
our
ahead.
subscribers deserve answers, Brandon. Keep going, Keeks.
because I find that interesting. I get what you're saying though. I don't disagree with you. I did not like the fact that Brandon did that. However, if if Cara didn't have to say shit to Cam, nobody has to say shit to Cara. That's how I see it.
But the thing is, was Cam up for elimination?
No, but even then, okay, so then it would
Cam
be
Cam
easier.
just
It would be easier for Cara to tell Cam, I'm just not voting Rachel because I'm trying to keep my star safe and hope she doesn't go for me.
that is true. However, because Cara was up for elimination, I think they should have just let her know. Just
Okay.
like if Cara, I think if Cara was going to vote Cam in back in the day, not now, she would have let her know, like, hey, I think overall the team wants to vote this way. It's looking like it's gonna go for you. Like, I think she would have given her that decencies, but
I
Brandon
mean, she
just
didn't give her the
didn't.
decency of telling her about. Okay, I
Yeah, but Cam just wanted to control everything. I think it was a matter of control and not like actual. Like she was still harping on the fact that Cara did not tell her about, or Cara didn't go with the Ayana vote. And I don't think she actually heard what Cara was saying. I just want to protect my star.
right,
She didn't. She
but I
was
feel like she would have heard
literally on the
her
fact
if
that,
she had the conversation before the nominations.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
speaking of
Anyway, but
nominations,
yes,
so we
yes,
go into the nominations.
yes.
And again, it's a small group. So we have Tina, Brandon, Jasmine, Avery, and Jay. Tina chooses to vote last. And Jasmine from the beginning says, hey, I'm looking out for my own game in this vote. So basically, we see Brandon, Jasmine, and Tina vote Cara and Rachel. Avery votes Cara and Veronica. She did not want to say Rachel's name. And Jay votes Flora and Rachel, as he said he did not want to say Cara Maria's name. So basically, the final vote is for Cara and Rachel.
And
So
can we also talk about because I know Tina went last and she was very adamant on
Mm-hmm.
going last. Can I ask why she didn't just vote like burn votes? She could have just did burn votes. She
I have
didn't
the
have to
same
go
question.
with Rachel and Cara. You did not have to vote your best friend in. Like your best friend was already going in. There was no need for it. It didn't make sense
and
to me.
And we see Rachel getting upset later on the episode about that. But we also know that Tina's not a strategic player. She doesn't think things through. Like, that's not her strong point. Tina brings the drama and the comic relief. So if we're expecting strategy or to think anything through, Tina even said, she was like, listen, there's no point of saying any other names. It's already Cara and Rachel. I might as well just go with the group. And Brandon says, just fall on the sword. And she did.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I agree with Brendan though. Like, you didn't have to vote for them, and you could have burned vote, and you even went last, so you could have done the count. It's not that many of you for you to not do the count. So that's where I was just like, that was stupid, because now your friends are gonna be pissed off at you,
yeah.
and unless
Yeah.
like, because it also seemed like a lot of these people, a lot of these friends, they're not having conversations. Because honestly, Tina
Mm-hmm.
should have told Rachel and Veronica, if it comes down to majority vote, to protect myself, I'm gonna say y'all names because I don't want to another target on my back by somebody else. But like the fact that you kind of also blindsided your friends because your friends weren't expecting you to vote for them either, like that was dumb. I didn't understand that. But anyway, so now we get into Jasmine bringing out the names, and it's Rachel and Cara. And Jasmine says it off rip. It's not personal. It is not personal. It is a game. And Cara's pissed, and she can be pissed. But I'm also just like, Cara, you know that this was like, I get it that you're mad at your friends doing what they did, but you know that this is the game and you're at the bottom. They're gonna want to try to take you out, point blank, period. Everybody.
But can I just say,
Mm-hmm.
I understand her. Oops, sorry. I understand her getting mad because in the earlier episodes, I forget exactly which one it was, when Jasmine was up for elimination, Cara clearly said, I'm not voting for Jasmine. We've been through a lot, and I'm not gonna say her name. I'm voting the other way. Why couldn't Jasmine return that favor? I don't know, but apparently she doesn't know what loyalty is. We've seen that from her Real World season, so
But
don't
she
know.
explained it.
Uh,
She explained it for her own game. I felt like she
Is
was
it
the
her
most
own game or
vocal.
is it Cam's game? That's my question. Because this whole thing is Cam's game. It's not for Brandon's game. It's not for Jasmine's game. It's for Cam. Cam and Leroy at
But
this
it
point.
benefits
Because if you
Jazz's
really
game
think,
anyway.
okay,
I
and then
agree.
when
I
they
think
what
I think it was
I
the
don't know.
smart move for Jasmine. Like
Yep.
she says it's not personal. And again, I do believe that Cam planted the seed. Don't get me wrong, because she did first
She did.
start with saying Veronica and Rachel. So I definitely believe Cam planted the seed. But even if that's the truth, it's still a really good move for Jasmine. Like, sorry, Jasmine, you're not going to beat Cara Maria in a final, especially an individual final. Like, you know that.
But
And you're
is
not going
she
to beat
gonna beat
Rachel
any one of
either.
them?
You never
Yeah.
know.
You never
You
know,
never
especially if
know.
she gets them
But you're
out.
definitely not going to beat Cara Maria, and you're definitely not going to beat Rachel,
Be
who all
Rachel.
they do is like these not these competitions, but I think that she has a much better chance beating some of the other girls on the season than she does the two heavy hitters. So
Who? Can you name
it's
those
a good.
girls?
I think she
Veronica,
can beat Flora. I
Flora.
think on the right day she might be able to beat Cam, depending on what the competition is.
No.
Cam is not as strong as she used to be.
That's not true. I don't think so. I think Cam will
I think she
yeah,
could beat
she will definitely
Veronica. I
beat
think
her.
she could beat Tina.
I don't even know about that.
I get what you're saying, Brandon, like in the term of like, okay, you don't have the most like faith in Jasmine being able to take the W. I get that. However, I don't blame Jazzy for going with the move that makes the most sense for her towards the end of the game. Like, you need to get one of those out. And again, when is she going to have the opportunity to vote two heavy hitters, two champs with stars ever again? Maybe not likely. So I don't blame her for taking the opportunity. And honestly, she was the standout to me of this episode because she said it. She was very vocal about it. And then she even tells Rachel takes it to the chin. You know, Cara is now honestly, like, I understand. Well, I kind of laughed at, or I did laugh, not kind of, at Jazzy's confessional, pretty much saying like she wants to put a pacifier in fucking Cara's mouth so she could stop having a fucking temper tantrum. Because it's also like, Cara, now you crying, now you moping and soaking all around the house. You know this is you know uh this is your trajectory. This is where you shine. Unfortunately, when the house is against you. So I was just so surprised at her like blowing up, and then she was like, "We're gonna give you guys the show. We're gonna give you guys a show." And then we got that shitty ass elimination. Oh my god, that shit pissed me off. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I have to agree. Like, Cara, what's this victim card? And she always does this. So this is definitely a trend of Cara Maria that we all know I absolutely hate is when she plays the victim card. You want to come back stronger. You want to come back fit, and you want to be feared by the other players, then you got to take what it comes with that. People are going to target you. Grow up, shut up, and play the game. Period.
go,
So
Brandon, go.
okay, before we get into the actual elimination, backing up. So when Cara found out, right, what was Cara's first reaction? She said, "Let's go, Rachel. We're gonna give them a show." Right? Fine. My only problem with Jasmine is that she was basically saying we had to do what was best for us, and you guys are giving Jasmine credit, but it wasn't her credit to take. Like, it was Cam's. So like I think I would respect Jasmine's move if Jasmine was the one that first said, or even Brandon, if Brandon was the one that first said, "Hey guys, let's take out the stronger people." They just kind of went along with what she said, and that's why I don't really give
Wait,
them.
Yeah,
but
Brandon did say
Brandon
that.
mentioned it before. Brandon
Yeah.
mentioned it before they had the conversation with Cam.
And Brandon wasn't in the room with Cam.
Okay.
It was Cam, Laurel, Avery, and Jasmine. So Cam planted the seed with the women, but Brandon and Jay were not in it. And again, Brandon had mentioned to Cara Maria when they first came back and she knew she was in the bottom. He said, I'm going for the strongest. Like, I need to look out for my game.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I get what you're
fine.
saying though.
I'll
I
eat
get
that.
what you're saying though, because I do understand Cara being upset. I just wish she would have took it to the chin more like Rachel. But then again, that's the difference between Cara and Rachel in
yeah.
terms of like just people. So but yeah, that was just the only thing. I don't blame Jazzy at all for making the move that she did. What I did not like though was that Cam was calling Cara entitled and a brat and everything, and I said, "Listen, Cam, stop throwing
Cut it
stones
out.
when
Yep.
like with glass houses or whatever the saying is, you know." But I didn't like that because yes, I do agree that Cara was doing like I was just like, okay, like now the crying and now she's super upset, like just really back in. You got this shit.
But you know what
But
bothered me the most? Hold on. What bothered me the most about Cam's comment is she had the audacity to say that it was like a karmic move. That because Cara Maria didn't have her back the last time and she thought they were each other's number one, that now Cara's number one, being Brandon, didn't have her back. And again, I just feel like it's two different levels, Cam. Like what happened last episode and this, you're putting up Cara Maria up for elimination to go home. You just wanted everyone to agree with the plan that was going through anyway. So I definitely do not. I think Cam's reaction and attack on Cara Maria, and I'm going to call it an attack because I felt like it was pretty harsh. I felt like it was completely unwarranted.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like Cam, again, I mentioned it earlier. I think she's just harping on the fact that Cara Maria didn't do what I said. And it's like, okay, but everyone gets to play their own game. And she's still hell bent on this. It's like, all right, get over it, girl. You still got what you wanted in the end. Going back to Cara, and this is the last we'll touch on this. I think it was Keeks that mentioned how she has her little outbursts. My thing is, I've seen a little bit of growth though, because I've seen Cara in the past, and she can really have an outburst where she's like being a brat, but I think she went up to her room, she cried, she got that out of her system, and then she talked her shit, and it was what it was. I didn't think she did too much at all. I think she gave us the perfect amount of Cara, to be honest. But
I mean, I was entertained nonetheless. So I get that.
mm-hmm.
And Ryan was the only person that went to her to talk about it. I mean, Jazzy told her right there and then that it was not personal, and you could tell that like Cara was not trying to hear that. Okay. Um, but I did think that Brandon should have at least, considering they share the same room and they're each other's number ones, he should have went up to her after, just how I wish Cara and Cam had a conversation after last week's episode. Like, I'm just not understanding the miscommunication in the house. Like, y'all have nothing else to do. Why are y'all not talking to each other? Like, that's really what's pissing me off. And then Rachel
Mm-hmm.
finds out that Tina says her name, and she's like, "What the hell was that about, Rachel? Like, hello." And they even have a little spat. Well, actually, now we see two friends actually talking to each other about how they make each other feel, finally. And Rachel's like, "You didn't have to say my name, Tina." And Tina's over here like emotional as hell. She's like, "Oh my God, I fucked up." So that was that.
No, now Tina's saying I would give my firstborn for Rachel to come to the final.
Yes.
The drama. I'm sorry, but like Tina's me in 20 years. I don't know how old Tina is, but I'm gonna give myself 20 years to get there. But the dramatics, all of it. I'm like, yes, like sis, that's me at heart. I love the drama of it all. So yeah, that was the Rachel Tina moment. So then we kind of go into the elimination. B, do you want to kind of break it down for us? Because it seems like none of us were too big of a fan of this guy.
Okay, so we all know two heavy hitters are going in. It's Rachel and it's Cara. So once I heard that, I was like, okay, it's gonna be a big one. Like we're thinking like something physical, maybe something endurance wise, but no. We get an elimination called Star Slice, right? So basically the objective of the game is there's a board, right? On opposite sides that are facing the competitors. And you have a whole bunch of like throwing star axes that you have to try to basically get on your opponent's pictures. But the catch is your pictures are also on there, and there are also things that can either benefit you or hinder you. Um, so I don't know. I think overall it was okay. It wasn't anything that I was excited to see. Wasn't really into it, but the overall goal is that you have to hit your opponent's star at least 3 times, and then you win. Um, yeah, not a big fan. I don't know, Keeks. What did you think?
I hated it. I hated this elimination. It was so boring. You could tell it was boring for them. I could not believe that we finally got Rachel and Cara into the elimination stand. And this is what y'all give us, production. I swear to God. Y'all hate us. Y'all hate the fandom. I'm convinced. What the fuck was that? A game of darts? Oh, and before we get in there, because hold on, because you explained the elimination, but let's talk about the fact that Cam and Laurel don't want to come down. After Cam was making the comment like, "Oh, it's time for us to make a big move. Maybe we should go in there and get a star ourselves." What happened, Cam? Because this would have been
Doing
a good one.
all this stuff.
This would have
Well,
been a
Mhm.
good one.
she made a very good comment though. She said, when Teach says, "Do either of you want to come down?" She said, "There's 100% chance that a challenge champ and a star holder is
Oh
going
yeah,
home." That's
yeah, and
valid. Like,
no, that's
why
valid.
would you go down? Like, why would you
But I
take
just
that
thought it
risk
was
right now?
funny. I thought it was funny, or
Fair.
maybe like production set her up with that confessional because it just makes her look like she wussed out. Like you could have went down, but I do get that. Like you could get a star holder
Not
out
only
and a
not
champ out.
only her, but also Laurel, because
Yeah.
I know we'll get into the game a little bit, but during the game, Laurel makes the comment like, "Oh, like they're doing so bad. I should have just gone down." Well,
Yeah.
Laurel, it wasn't physical, so you should have gone down to begin with. It could have been an easy start for you if you're like a dart professional. So like, why
Right.
didn't you? I think they
Right.
were like uh confessional bullies, and they weren't bringing the heat in person when they could
We
have
gotta
just
we gotta
brought
chill
it
with
down
this
to the
bullies
sand.
word. We gotta chill with this bullies word, okay?
Not
Cause
bullies. I won't say
confessional
bullies.
gangsters. Confessional
Confessional
gangsters.
gangsters. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
That's what they
But
were, but they
yeah,
weren't. I don't know. They
I
they
have
Yeah.
do all this, but then they don't show up.
Yeah.
I
And
have
y'all
another comment to
forgetting.
make.
Go ahead, Keeks.
Oh, sorry. Were you gonna go about Cara
Her
brand?
soapbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, get us into it, Keeks, because I mean, you can't have an elimination without Cara going on her soapbox
Car
again.
Cara is such a she is such a like a WWE player when it comes to
Baby,
this
I
shit.
want to muzzle her. I just want to be
Like
like, girl, play, compete, please shut up.
not
Like,
a
yes,
muzzle. But I just feel like Cara has to set this shit up. Like she's just so dramatic, and that's the certain part that I do like about Cara. However, she gets into it with Jasmine. Jasmine's like, it's a game, it's a game. Like it's whatever. You could come back. I don't care. Like, do you or focus on what you got to do right now. And this is also where we hear the comment that oh, we haven't even talked in 8 years, and it's like Brandon, but you wasn't saying that like a few minutes ago. Like, what's going on? So I
yeah,
didn't
that
like
was
that comment. I
shady.
know y'all didn't like that comment either because it just contradicted whatever he was saying a few minutes ago. But with Jasmine kept that same energy the entire episode. Now, what
Yeah,
I did not like was Cara then saying to Jasmine that was aggressive. Chill out with that shit, especially towards a black woman. You know how that looks. And I feel like that set up Jasmine to get all this hate from the fandom because she's experiencing that right now. And it's just like that's not necessary for y'all to be calling her aggressive. Now y'all calling out her kids on fucking social media, making comments about them. That shit is nasty, tired, and out. Get over yourself. Cara went into elimination. She's probably gonna go into elimination again. Like, I
yeah,
get it. But like, chill the fuck out. Like that shit, that really bothered me because I was like, now, Car, you acting passive aggressive and you acting naive as hell to be calling somebody aggressive because they don't agree with you and they just say focus on you right now. Okay.
Yeah, correct. And we definitely don't support any of that behavior because in the end of the day, it's a game. And Jasmine's protecting her family, and she shouldn't even have to get to that point because she wasn't aggressive. She was defending herself. If you come at someone, they have the right to defend themselves, period. So, and then Kara had the audacity to make a comment of, I created a monster. You taking a lot of credit, honey. What monster have you created? Because I only remember
Okay,
Jasmine with
okay,
the fierceness.
okay, okay. Okay.
Oh,
Going
I'm
back to the
ready to
aggressive
hear this
comment, I
one.
don't. No, hold on. The aggressive comment, I did not agree with. I agree with you guys. The monster comment, I thought it was funny. But I've always thought Jasmine was her own entity on the challenge. Like she 5 stars with the confessionals this whole episode. I think she carried the episode. She was the entertainment and the other entertainment was Cara. I think they both like complemented each other well, going head to head with each other. But I thought it was funny, like when she was like, "TJ, I created a monster." Like, it's funny. Like, I don't take it to heart what she said, and I don't think Jasmine took it either. Like, I think Jasmine knows exactly who she is, and I don't know. It is what it is. Like, I
Well,
wasn't mad at it.
definitely speaking about funny was this entire elimination. We are watching these two heavy hitters back and forth, throwing these stars everywhere except on the board. I thought it was really cute. Kifla made a funny comment saying it looks like we're watching Stevie Wonders and Ray Charles competing right now. And I thought it was definitely a cute moment because sis, they definitely need to go play some darts a little more. What did you think about it, Keeks?
I hated this shit again. So I was annoyed. And then Cara, I did think that the little effects or little sounds that production added in to the final edit was cute. Like when Cara completely threw the dart and it freaking went over the whole thing and TJ's like, God damn. Um but I hated it. You could tell everybody was bored because at a certain point everybody started sitting down and it was just like, what is happening? And then Cara ends up throwing a dart at her own face. So now Rachel's up by one, and then Cara also hits a dart where it says like she has to stand on one leg while she throws it, and it wasn't looking that good. I just felt like it was up in the air for both of them, and it would have been the case for everyone. This was like definitely a equalizer type of daily elimination rather, but I hated it. I hope they never bring it back. Like, what a waste. Ugh,
Yeah,
annoying.
it was blah. If anything, I know that Cara eventually gets to the point where she's like, all right, it's her turn. And in her confessional, she's like, all right, I know we were making jokes the whole time, but all jokes aside, I really have to get this one if I want to stay in the
Hmm.
game. She throws it and it actually lands on Rachel's picture. So Cara ends up winning. All is good in the world. Um
In
and
in Brandon's world. No, I'm kidding. In my world too.
I mean, look, I feel like going down there the way that she did go down, I always like I think Cara's best when she has her back against the wall and with no one on her side. I feel like that's when she plays her best game. I don't like when she has the big clicks playing with her. I again I like her as the lone star. So I don't know. What about you, Lena?
I actually didn't really care who won this elimination. I agree. I thought it was a very boring elimination. I developed a really soft spot for Rachel this season. Mind you, she's only been on 4 episodes, but something about the way she's matured, her collecting stars for her friends, something about that was really like touching to me. And I kind of really low key was rooting for Rachel. Um, But yeah, in the end of the day, Cara did win. Rachel wasn't that upset. She said she was ready to go home to her family and she had a good time on the episode she was on. Yeah. And then we definitely see Tina saying that she needs to beef up her game a little with more strategy if she wants to actually win and keep her friends. So, Tina, keep that attitude because that is the truth.
Mm-hmm. So then we get to the
Yeah.
point where like now it's time for Kara to steal someone's star or give her star to somebody else.
She
Give the
keeps
star
her
that she won.
star.
She keeps her
Yeah.
star and that she
She
wins
stole
another
Rachel's
star,
star. Yeah.
stole Rachel's star, and now she can give it to somebody else. And then Kara again gives us some long-winded explanation.
No
Which
way. Cara Maria talks again?
Okay,
she's
but
I
okay.
agree with the move.
This
I agree with the move.
yeah, this was a good little speech because
Mhm.
she basically says, "Do I want to give it to one of the strong girls and basically have them be a target instead of me?" But then she makes a good point, and she's like, "But I feel like it'll be a Rachel versus Cara Maria part 2." So then she's like, "Or I could give it to Jasmine, and
Mhm.
there's Jasmine and Veronica. They're gonna go for them to get the stars more easily," which to me is a brilliant move. I would do the same thing. I'm not gonna give it to a strong person if I have a star and then it'll be on repeat. So why not do that move? So she's explaining it to everyone, and Cam in her confessional is like, Kara's not that strategic. Why wouldn't you give it to the stronger girl? Blah blah blah. I would do that. Like, and to me, I'm like, I'm rethinking my thoughts on Cam because I'm like, I always thought Cam to be this very strategic player. But in that moment, I was like, Cam, you're not making sense. Like, really think about it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but what did you guys think?
No, I agree with you. I do think that it was a smart move. I just didn't think she needed to spend her last few minutes talking about it out loud. I would have just been like, I'm giving the
Correct.
star to Jasmine.
Period.
It still
That's
went
it.
over their heads anyway. It
No,
literally
yeah,
went over their
obviously it
heads.
went over Cam's head. Um, and I just felt like, what the hell? Why do all that? And of course, Jasmine's like, and honestly, Jasmine looks like a tough bitch because she like, I don't care, give it to me. So now you saying I'm not a strong player? I don't care. I'm not afraid, and I respect that. But I didn't understand where Cam was coming from with that. It wasn't strategic because I was like, that was very strategic as hell because it made sense. I just didn't think she had to explain herself.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that. I think it was absolutely the right move, because she started almost giving it to Laurel, and then she was like, I thought about it. It's going to be a Cara versus Laurel. It's going to be a Cara versus whoever strong." So it was the right move, but y'all know
Yeah.
me and Cara's soapboxes. I just can't. I need to start putting that on mute. But
Yeah,
so that brings us to our final star holders, which are Jasmine, Cara, Veronica, Keefla, Adam, and Steve. So what are we thinking about these? Yeah. Go for it, Keeks.
no, go ahead, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, what are we thinking about these star holders?
What a random ass group of stockholders. But it's so early in the game, like it's gonna switch up eventually. It's gonna switch up. But very random. I do want to make a comment. Steve ain't have no camera time. They said fuck Steve. If you literally, I was on Reddit, right? Shout out to the Redditors. They did a confessional count for episode 4. Apparently Steve got a confessional. I don't remember. Apparently Flora got a confessional. I don't remember.
Steve got the confessional when it was in the competition, in the daily competition, and he was like, "Oh, I just follow what the women say. It's like my real life." I do remember that.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
do. And then
okay.
I remember I think they showed his hands like once, but
Right. Okay. And then apparently Ryan got nothing, but like I feel like that has to be wrong because didn't or maybe I'm confusing the camera time that they showed him talking to Carl. But I was like, Steve, where have you been? Because apparently, oh, and Ace. Let's talk about the dude Ace. He's had a total of 4 confessionals this entire season. So that means 1 per episode.
I mean, are we surprised though? Like, I think we talked about
I'm
this
not
before.
mad at Ace. I like
If the
Ace.
best if
You
the
like Ace
best
because he
you
likes Kara?
No, I liked Ace before this.
I
Even
know. I'm
when
playing
he
that with you.
didn't know Kara, I liked him. Like I thought he was more because I know he was on the season of the Real World with CT and
Mm-hmm.
Adam, the
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
But on that season, I remember me liking Ace because he was more like chill. He didn't get involved. Like he just did what had to be done, and that was
but
it.
then why are you going
So,
on reality TV if you're just gonna chill and not get
because
involved?
you need some of those characters. You don't always need the loud ones. You need the chill, laid back ones. You need like a
Eh,
Landon that ends up just winning. You do.
yeah, but I don't even remember Landon's win, to be honest.
I do. I
What?
do.
What? How do y'all not
It's
That was
Landon?
that was
Landon was
iconic.
a
Yeah.
it's not
Landon had a
memorable to
crazy
me.
win. Oh my god, Landon. Okay, first of all, comparing Landon and Ace is also crazy. Like, what are we doing? That two different. Landon is like the OG Horacio,
Okay.
except Horacio
Yeah.
doesn't have any wins. But like in terms of like athleticism, like being the good guy in the game, that is Landon.
Okay, can I
Um.
mention we like brought up Horacio, my papi, like twice in this episode? Hi.
Oh my god, Horacio! Shout out to
All right, you
Horacio
better
and
stop. Nari's about to come for you. Stop.
It's
Nariz.
all
I don't
love,
watch him,
girl. It's
man.
all love. I won't touch. I just want to look. That's it.
Oh, I don't want to touch him. He cute, but he can stay where he at. He too straight edge for me. Anyway, um, yeah, that's all I wanted to come out like point out. Like Steve irrelevant in this fucking game. And we also didn't really see Adam this episode. We didn't really hear from him much either. But
I think
anyway,
Oh,
overall, though,
I'm literally thinking like, who's Adam? You just reminded me.
I was gonna
Avery.
say though, overall, I feel like the men in general, other than like really Jay and Brandon,
Yeah.
did like Brad. I mean, what was his moment? Like when he was
Oh
mouth
yeah.
open
Brad
snoring.
only.
Oh,
Yeah.
can we talk about his moment? I'll let you talk about it, Keith.
Why did they post that, man? Like, first of all, production, y'all should not have put that in. Oh my god, Brad was in deep sleep, thinking of things probably, and something was something else aside from his snoring was saying hello to us in that moment, and I just felt like it was very explicit, and I cannot believe they caught it on Twitter. I mean, they catch everything, but hey, now I guess we see why Brittany was so strong over Brad.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Brit. Let's just say he was thinking or dreaming about Brit. Let's just say that.
Or based on the rumors of somebody else from season 40.
Wait, what rumor?
Apparently Brad was like cuddling up with somebody on season 40.
Oh, but that was before that, so that wouldn't.
I mean, I'm just saying, but anyway, uh
Tune in and watch season 40 for more
well, yeah,
details.
yeah. No more spoilers. My bad, y'all. But yeah, so those are the star holders. What do you guys think about the episode overall?
I'm gonna give the episode an 8. I thought it was interesting on the drama level. I think the game was definitely getting started. We were seeing friendships really break apart. I think players are starting to play for themselves, but that elimination was basura. It was boring. It really brought down the entire episode. So I'm gonna give it an 8, being nice.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because I felt like there was a lot of drama from different angles. So it wasn't only Kara and Jasmine and Brandon, it was also Rachel and Tina and Cam in her own world against the whole world. But I thought it was entertaining to see so many voices and opinions happening. But I'm excited to see what trickles down to the next episodes.
Yeah, same. And I'm hoping the next episode it's an individual daily challenge, or if they have to be with somebody else, at least just in pairs. Like, hopefully, it's not no big group daily challenges. Like you said, like I also want to see these people perform on their own or in smaller groups or just in pairs, just to see how they're going. Um, I did want to mention like Rachel was on the MTV official challenge podcast, and y'all know we do not support them Vacation Alliance hoes over there. Um, so I got notes, and pretty much Rachel had talked about like the whole Cam and Leroy situation with Ayana. Um, and she had mentioned that Cam and Jasmine had apparently like threatened to quit because of how intense things got with Ayana. So there's definitely a lot we are missing. Yeah. I thought that was interesting. And that Rachel also was on like understood the whole thing where Kara was coming from, and she was on Kara's side. How she feels like pretty much Cam's perspective or her issues with Kara were definitely one-sided. She felt like Cam was being the entitled one, which we obviously saw
Mm-hmm.
a glimpse of that as well. And also, Rachel dislocated her shoulder in that elimination between her and Ayana and popped it back in to finish the elimination. So I was kind of thinking maybe that's why they went the route that they did with the elimination, because they didn't want
That
to.
makes yeah, that
That's
makes sense.
fair. Wow.
But I was like, still, I'm kind of annoyed by that. Um, and what else? I think that was really much, yeah, the main thing.
You know
Oh,
what I
Well,
gotta
shout out to sorry, really quick. Shout out to Rachel though, because she was a badass. I did not even notice that she dislocated her shoulder and she was doing the rope challenge with no problem. Like I would have made it a whole thing where I was like, my shoulder is hurting. I need to sit this one out. But
yeah,
I didn't get anything from
badass.
her. So good for her.
Wait, real quick, before you go, Lena, another thing. Rachel said it to Anissa and Tori's face. She likes the unpredictability of All Stars 4. She hates how people come into the game with a ton of friends and play a numbers game to get to the end. And then Anissa apparently said that it gets awkward having that many games and it can be a weakness. And I'm like, funny because y'all asses always make it to the end. So it's never a weakness for y'all, pretty much. But it was just funny how she brought that up and she was addressing two of the main contributors, or like the people that really orchestrate this vacation alliance, like two of the main people. So I thought it was funny that she went on their pod and pretty much said that to their face. And I said, "Yeah, I need Rachel back for these reasons."
badass. I love her. See, this is why I didn't care if she would have won. She's a badass.
Yeah,
No, the one thing I did want to say, just kind of my last comment. Next episode, I'm definitely eyes on Leroy, because if he comes last again, I hope y'all are keeping count because he's been in the bottom a lot.
every episode.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys called it out. I was trying to be nice, but every episode he's been in the losing group.
Call it out.
I am very interested to see if he comes in that losing group again. Will people pay attention, or will Cam do her dirty work again? So,
I mean, I and really quick, I feel like everyone is writing Cam's they're in Cam's mist at the moment. So like I don't know what perfume she sprayed in that house, but everyone is just following her commands. And I'm literally just like, oh my God, you guys need to wake up. Like you guys are playing for Cam and Leroy right now. I don't know. I don't get it, but we'll see.
We shall see, guys. So that concludes today's episode of Reality Unloaded, the challenge All Stars 4, episode 4. We'll be back next week to recap episode 5. And yeah, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can keep into up to date with us, what's coming up. And if you have any opinions, share them in the comments below. Don't be afraid to share your opinion on this dang show, just like we are. And also, like, Cara, I still fuck with you. You know, you move like a WWE wrestler sometimes. So love to you, love to Rachel, and see you guys for the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.